What a girl wants, what a girl needs. Hi everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Jodi, and I'm here with my lovely lash wife, Alicia.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, but I'm a lot happier than some other grumpy bums out there.
Yes, we are going to be talking about the dreaded unhappy client. Now, we know every lash artist has faced an unhappy client at some point, probably a couple of points throughout their life if they've been doing it long enough. But we want to help you navigate how to deal with an unhappy client, some best practices in staying calm and responding well and taking this bad situation and turning it around to your
Rising above the
advantage.
challenges, rising above and making it work for you, not against you.
Yep. So give us a tip, Jodi. What's the first thing? What's the first thing you would think?
First tip from customer service I can think of is that every time you have something happen, a bad, upset, angry customer, it's such a great learning adventure for you. Such a great learning adventure about, number one, your business, number one, your services, number one, everything that you offer is being questioned by this person. So you have to take it as a real learning curve. You have to take it as something that, listen, accept it, can't take it too personally. It's being said, so you can't stop them saying it. It's not a reflection of what you're doing, it's a reflection how it's made them feel.
I think it is really easy to take something to heart as well. When you put your whole life and energy and soul into this business that you run, and the business is you at the core, and someone says something about it is crap, it can be really hurtful.
Can be really hurtful,
but it's easy to take it personally.
It is very easy, but it's a really big grown-up step not to take it personally. And it's actually the first step of having great customer service and understanding what customer service is. So as I said, that person is reflecting their feelings on you. It's not your feelings. So it's how they're feeling about a situation. So if you take yourself out of the equation and you listen, just understand that it's what they're feeling. They could be saying some horrible things, and I know that. But this is a time to learn, because they're either A, true, B, not true. So you've got to know that yourself. So my tip is to listen, to step back from the situation, don't take it personally straight away, and then deal with it.
So if it's true, whatever they're saying, you have the opportunity to reflect, rectify the situation, and grow from it. What if it is not true what they're saying?
That's really difficult. So my situations are, I haven't been a lash artist before, so I haven't got the salon experience to talk about this, but I can definitely talk about customer service from retail. The customer's always right. The customer is always right. So
even when they're wrong.
Even when they're wrong. The customer is always right to some extent. So obviously, if they've had their lashes refilled from someone else and they come back and say, you did a terrible job, my lashes look terrible, that's something that you can see. Returning a pair of jeans, as I used to work in the jean industry, returning a pair of jeans that are stretched out of shape and saying they never wore them. It's much as it's your work, that's your money, you have to learn to be able to distinguish between the customers. First of all, is the customer a worthy customer? Is the customer a good customer? Is the customer someone that's given you a client that's been an easy client? If the run with the client hasn't been a good run, then this might be time to cut ties. But you still need time to reflect on that. I would always say, number one, the customer is always right until proven guilty. But you need to give yourself some time to work through that. Don't make a reaction when they're yelling and screaming in your face and abusing you or accusing you of what they're accusing you for. The professional side of you needs to step in, step back, stay calm, and go through the facts.
And when you stay calm, it's easier for them to calm down. You know, someone that's heightened is not going to be de-escalated by someone that is joining them in that energy. If I've learned anything from children, if they're yelling and screaming and acting like psychos, and then I start yelling and screaming and saying, then everyone acts like it's insane. Whereas I say, okay, we're all going to sit down and we're going to just get a glass of water and we're going to talk this through. Even children will calm down somewhat to that. So if you're dealing with an adult who is angry and saying, well, and I wasn't happy, and they're getting really heightened and really full on, you can say, I hear what you're saying. Let's just take a break for a moment. I'm going to get water for both of us. We're going to just sit down and giving them a chance to stop yelling and chill for a minute. might just be enough for them to go, okay, I'm just going to reflect on what's happening here and be
Because-
going, and this person's listening to me. So I'm giving the opportunity for them
Exactly.
to be heard.
And half the time, and I mean half the time, and that's a study that we studied at school. I went back and did my social work degree, and one of the things we studied was behaviour. And the behavioural pattern is that 50% of the time it's something else that's happened to them that's leading up to that event. So if you halve what they're saying anyway, because you probably guarantee that they've had an argument with the husband in the morning, the kids were playing up before school, they might have lost their job. There's a whole lot of impactors that get to a person to a point of that. So it's like road rage. You're just not angry every day you get in the car, but your mood getting into the car can cause road rage. So remember that when someone's yelling at you, bring them down. Don't take it too personally. Listen to what they have to say, but always empathise. Always, Alicia said the right thing before. Always empathise and say, I hear what you're saying. I understand how you're feeling. I understand how this is making you feel. How can I help you? What would you like me to do? Start throwing some really empathetic things back in their face, because at customer service here at Prolong Lash, we had an incident, and Carol, the producer, wanted me to speak about this. We had an incident recently where we had a really angry customer on customer service come through, nasty, like very abusive, and kept on coming through and was coming through to Adele, who looks after our customer service. And I was monitoring, because I get all the emails as well. I was monitoring the emails. Anyway, this woman was ferocious, furious, for not a really good reason, but enough of a reason to her. So I replied. I got involved and I said, hi, it's Jodi here, the CEO of Prolong Lash. Can see you're upset. Number one, please do not ever speak to our stuff like that again. So, you always defend who you think you need to defend as the person that is going to play good cop, bad cop. So you do defend yourself, Alicia, in that situation, as you know.
Yeah.
You do defend yourself, but you always have to. So I come in and I just said, we understand your problem. As you can see, and it was a postal problem, an issue with the post and something not being delivered. Anyway, she wasn't putting down the correct address. Not us. We could see that she wasn't putting the right address. There was a unit missing, a number, a box. And the postal officer saying to us, yes, but which box do we put it into? I'm like, we don't know. So, we wound that up by, first of all, me telling her to calm down and not speak to staff like that. But second, appreciate your problem. We want to fix it. So just calm down and fix it.
So even if you don't agree with whatever they're saying, you can still say, I hear what you're saying. I want to fix your problem. And let's do this in a reasonable way. And we will not tolerate abusive behavior. You always have the right to say, this is not tolerable behavior. If someone is being abusive, you have every right to say, I'm going to ask you to leave my salon at this point. And we can have a discussion further down the line when you're going to behave appropriately. So that's an extreme case. And, I think there is a big difference between someone that's standing in front of you. And I've had clients yell at me. I ran a salon with 15 girls, and people have bad days and freak out, and their husbands have cheated on them, and then they come and get their lashes done and they've lost it because their appointment wasn't really booked in or whatever. I've had people scream in my face. So people do get angry and yelly, but I think people on email, like we experience here at Prolong Lash, get a little bit big for their boots compared to being in person, because they're behind a keyboard and they feel safe to get quite abusive over a message where they know they're not going to be confronted. I don't think you have to deal with people screaming at you on an everyday kind of level. Like if you're new to the lash industry, we're not trying to scare you. You're not going to be having clients screaming in your faces every day, but you will possibly come across the odd person on the phone, because they have that protection, just like an email, where they might be yelling at you through socials. Yep. But the point is, in any of these situations, you just need them to understand that you hear what they're saying. Whether you agree or not, you will solve their problem for them.
Absolutely, because it's a problem for them. And that's what you have to remember. It's not a problem for you. You don't think it's a problem. You don't think it's upset your day. You don't think that the child in the car screaming this morning's affected you, but that person has been affected by something on that day, right or wrong. That person wants answers, fixed, sorted, and you're the person that has to fix it. So take it as an experience, take it as a challenge, and learn from that. Learn, number one, find out what the customer wants or the client wants, of course.
What's her problem?
What's her problem? So her problem is that she was not booked in for an appointment. I think that's a really good example. Someone comes in and says, I had a booking and you didn't take it. So, I mean, that has happened a lot to me, not in the lash industry because we're perfect, but, hairdressers and other places.
We all make mistakes, especially when there's manual bookings. Online bookings make things a little bit easier, so make life easier for yourself and get online booking, please. But manual bookings, if you work in any industry with manual bookings, we're human. You say, yeah, sure, I'll book that in right now, and then you go to book it in and someone walks in the door and you say, oh, hi, how are you going? And then you go to book it in and they say, oh, I just needed to buy that thing, and you go, oh yeah, sure, and then you've forgotten to book that. Things happen, life happens.
But sorry, I just banged the table again. But
this is passionate.
But this is something that you should really listen to. I reckon this is something you should listen to. So exactly what Alicia said then. Problem is, ladies come in or gentlemen come in. It wasn't booked. You're on manual. You're using manual. It wasn't booked. Your lesson there is get an automated system. You can make mistakes. That it is busy, but when the client's there and the client's asking you for something, you don't have to always apologise. It's not the thing that you always have to apologise, but if you are in the wrong, you apologise and you sort the problem. And even if you're not in the wrong, you still sort the problem and then work through how that problem can't happen again for you. Because it's obviously something that's upset them, and it's obviously something to do with your processes or your work or your staff or your salon setup. So they wouldn't be coming in for no reason. Not many people would just come in to rant.
No.
They would have a reason.
You know what? Like, people coming in is one thing and being there, and you have to solve that issue immediately. But you know what really irritates me? And I was just thinking about this because I was trying to buy something in a Black Friday sale. It was a very large company in Australia, and I won't name and shame them, but
it wasn't Prolong Lash.
Just wanted to buy a candle. Okay, it's not hard. Black Friday sales, it's saying 30% off. Now, their website wasn't working, and when you put it in the cart, the discount didn't come up. It said clearly on the product page that there was a discount for that product, but when it went into the cart, the product didn't discount. I tried contacting them on their little pop-up, which was a robot. We don't have that, by the way. If you ask us a question at Prolong Lash, you actually speak to a person on our 24-hour chat, 7 days a week. But a little robot comes up going, what's your problem? And didn't help me. I sent them an email asking for assistance because it wasn't coming up. And then after 2 days of no response from either of those systems, I sent them an inbox on their Instagram. I am yet to still hear anything about it. And I can tell you now that I won't be shopping with them now. I won't buy that candle. I'll go somewhere else.
Points here. Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to. Points here for everyone listening. Point number 1, you lost a customer. Yep. Gone. And number 2, all you had to do is engage. All you had to do was send a message to Alicia. Yep. Even if it was, we're really sorry that black one's not on sale, it's the green one that's on sale. Or we're really sorry,
I just want an answer.
Website's down. So engage. Otherwise you will lose customer.
And answer people in a timely fashion. Like, when the people are coming in and telling you their problem, you're dealing with it straight away. Just because they're telling you their problem via a channel that isn't face-to-face doesn't mean that you get to just leave it sit there for a week and not answer them. The faster you answer them, the less annoyed they are. And if they had just said to me immediately, sorry, that one's not on sale, I probably would have gone and bought a different one on sale. Or I might have just bought that one anyway because I wanted that one. And I went, oh, well, it's not on sale. But now, no business from me.
Company. That company's gone. See?
I really just want to say their name.
So do I. I don't even know it. Maybe if I guess it, go just wink or something.
Yeah. No one ever shopped from.
We won't. We wouldn't name and shame anyone. But it's just imperative because you think about if you're Alicia's situation, but you think about when you want something then and there. You go to a shop and you go to buy an ice cream and that ice cream's sold out. And you go, oh, that's really what I felt like. And then you go to the second option, but it's never as good. It's never what you wanted. It doesn't have the same experience. It's the same thing. You ring up once, you don't get the answer. You ring up twice, you don't get the answer. It's a bad experience. It's not exactly what you wanted. And one bad review, it doesn't matter if you have 500 good ones that day. Everyone will read the bad review.
First thing I do when I shop, like especially online, and you see the stars, the first thing I do is click on the 1 star just to check what it is. If people are having shipping problems, which is often 1 star, I ignore those because
Can't help them.
the retailer is not a post office. So I don't know why people bother giving 1 star for shipping issues. But, that's the first thing I do. 1 star, what was their problem with this service or this product?
Not how good their product was, because you want to know the truth. You think the truth about that, what that person's saying in the moment of anger, which sometimes you write a review when you're angry and it's not really reflective of the situation.
Maybe a bit dramatic.
Maybe a bit dramatic, a little bit of mayo on it, maybe. But still, it's a situation. It is something that's happened to make that person angry enough to write a review.
Yeah.
So, we've had a situation at Prolong a few years ago. Someone wrote something from one of our global competitors. Someone wrote something on our socials, and we had to go into damage control over one comment. And yet, the whole community that was on this was saying, Prolong Lash is fantastic, Prolong Lash is Prolong Lash. It doesn't matter how many people were out there saying it, it's really damaging to your reputation the second that's out. So if you have messed up on something, fix it. If you haven't messed up, still going to say fix it. Customer is always right. For the money that you might spend to fix that problem, whether it's a new pair of jeans, fixing up some lashes, giving them some aftercare, Prolong Lash aftercare cleanser because we just love you. Whatever it is, you have to fix it to the point where that customer thinks it's been fixed for her. Because she will go away or he will go away and he will tell 5 people and you cannot get that marketing back. And you can spend anything you want on budgets and Google Analytics. Word of mouth can destroy your business.
Absolutely.
So even if that's wrong.
Here's a very lash specific situation for you
Well, you
to
go.
analyze. No, I want you to analyze this
Alright,
for me
okay.
because I see this one on lash groups all the time
Okay.
and I have an opinion on it and I'd like to know your opinion. But people often will put up, something that's come up, a text message maybe from a customer, wasn't happy with their lashes. Their lashes fell out all in one day. They don't like their lashes, whatever it is, and then people demand a refund. And the lash artist will post it on the group and say, what do you guys think I should do in this situation? I see these posts so often. And then I see response after response after response saying, do not refund her.
No,
Do not refund her. You have done the work. You should be paid for the work that you don't like. Let's take into account. Let's go with I don't like them. Let's go in with I don't like them. The reason she's texting you is because she doesn't like them. Okay, she doesn't like the lashes you've done. And people are going to come back and say, do not refund her. A lot of lash artists have this hard and fast rule with no refunds. And in our lash salon, in our big 15-bed lash salon where Prolong Lash started, we had a no refund policy. Our refund is perfect lashes every time, or we fix them for you for free. We didn't ever refund. We would, if we needed to, completely take them off and start again.
That's what I was
and do
gonna
a
say.
free set. But what is your opinion on refunding with someone that's angry with you and they want their money back?
I'm talking as a complete salon now. I'll take myself out of my retail hat. Because for me, in retail, you just refund. You just refund it because it's not your money. You're usually working for a company, so it's not your money. But if it's your salon and you, I would first question the artist's work. I would first question my own work. Have I been trained well enough? Like this community group should be saying to this girl, where did you get trained? How do your lashes look? Send us some before and afters. Do you educate your clients to use aftercare? I would be questioning the education level of if it's a one-off, I would probably just refund it. I would absolutely just refund it.
So it's an unusual situation. You would go,
Absolutely.
no one else ever complains. I'm just going to refund it.
Going to refund it because that person is just going to keep going.
Yeah.
If it's a continuing thing where you've had customers complaining, clients complaining about the sets, then you need to reassess your your policies, number
Yeah.
one. So before they leave, you have to ask them, are you happy with your set? Is this what you wanted? If not, you have to speak to me now because I have a no refund policy once you leave the salon. Maybe put it at that point of the point of sale. So it's very clear. You put all your policies and guidelines out on the table, and then if she walks out and starts bagging you on socials or starts ringing you up saying I'm not happy, then just ask her to come back in. Don't fight with her on socials. Put it on your socials. Hey, really sorry, when you left on the day and we took your after photo, you really liked the set. Please come back and see me and we'll see what's wrong. The more you give them, the more you actually embarrass them a little bit. I think it's a little bit, I know that's a horrible thing to say, but the more you actually bring it back down a little bit and tame the wild beast and sort of put them in the spot and make them look like they're the ones that are behaving poorly, then they sort of take check on themselves and go, oh, okay, well, she's offering to fix them. So, and always don't be shy to ask people to take reviews down and ask people to follow up if they've written something. Get them to follow up and say, hey, Jode was great when I went there. She fixed my set of lashes. I was upset. I was having a bad day. Ask people to support you if you support them back. But I'm just a massive believer in 95% of the time, you just refund.
Yeah, see, I actually agree. And even though I came from a salon where we had a no refund policy, and we were seeing hundreds of clients a week, so we kind of had to put a hard and fast rule in place. But when I ran my own salon, I actually only ever had one situation where I can say someone was unhappy with the lashes that I did. She had done lashes with me 2 years previous and then came back in, and I just went off the exact same notes that we did previously. She said she wanted what she had last time, but she was absolutely dead set that they were longer and they looked different and she didn't like them. Okay.
She was older. She's 2 years older and grumpier. Let's be honest.
But
get some Botox.
That was she looked at them, she was like, oh, look, you're longer. And I said, well, these are the notes that I had, and I kept very clear notes.
I knew you would.
And I had an automated system with their digital files, and I said, these are the exact same lashes we did last time, and maybe it's just the shock of having lashes back on again. So go home, see how you're feeling, and I'll contact you, or feel free to contact me, but I'll contact you tomorrow anyway to check on how you're going. And so she did go home, and then she wrote back to me, I actually want them taken off. And and that was pretty strange situation, but I said, absolutely, if that's what you want. And she didn't ask for a refund, but I did refund her because I just knew she knew a lot of my other clients. I knew that she was clearly unhappy and that I had seen her previously for about a year before she had a break for a couple of years, and she never complained about anything before. And I just felt like it was a weird situation where I didn't want her to complain about me. So for me, taking the hit of giving her money back and having spent that time doing her lashes was worth it to buy her silence.
Absolutely.
Of complaining.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Well, that's what we were talking about before, marketing dollars. You're always talking about how many marketing dollars you can spend, how much you put aside for this. That one incident could cost you as much as your whole week's budget in what you're going to get positively out of it. Like, it's negative, you're learning from it, all the rest of it. But most of the time, people are there for a reason. Most of the time, it's something that can be fixed. Most of the time, it's something you can look back on, reflect on, fix, manage, make sure it doesn't happen again. It's a learning curve for you as well. I know at the time you feel like, it's just, it's $175 or $200 out of my pocket. But in the scheme of things, $200 for someone out there opening their big truck, it's just worth to shut up.
Yeah,
that's absolutely. Putting it as bluntly as I can put it, basically. Well, the professionalism you want to take around that, pay them to shut up.
Yeah, I think so. And I think in these situations where people are advising other lash artists, do not give a refund.
Be very careful.
Yeah, I think maybe just think about the situation. Like, if she's gone home and done something to them and they've all fallen out or whatever, yes, it's not your fault, but also, do you have some responsibility in that? Yes, I think you do, because you haven't educated them properly if they've gone home and destroyed their lashes and made them all fall out. So I think depending on how angry they are, if you can get them to come back and fix them for them, and that's enough, that's good enough. But some people just want their money back and they don't care. And that is just not worth the fight.
It's not worth
It's not worth it emotionally. It's not worth it for your business.
And that's their win.
Mm-hmm.
They've set out.
They'll be happy and they'll go away and leave you.
And they've probably said to people, you watch this. I'm going to get my freaking money back from these people. Watch this happen. We've all seen it. I've seen it been with a group of girlfriends out for dinner and they're like, oh, now I'm just going for it because I'm so angry because they didn't get in contact with me.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't even want her money back originally. This is a girlfriend the other night screaming about something. And she kept the product. She liked the product, but it was the customer service she was unhappy with.
Mm-hmm.
Asking some questions and about unpacking the box. She felt like the box had been tampered with and no one got in contact with her. So then she just demanded a refund of a product that she loves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's putting out the fire before it becomes a fire. And as for the people on these community groups, I think you should be really, really careful. Really, really careful when giving young up-and-coming lash artists that are just out of training advice on how to run their salon when you don't know about their work, you don't know about their salon, you don't know about their demographic. It's really good to be supportive and get behind each other and give advice. But the ones that come through with the big do not refund, that person's asking you a question and that's not really an answer to a question. That's not helping her with her situation. She's reaching out to find out about a situation. So I think we all need to be a little bit empathetic towards that person that may just be starting out and asking those sort of questions. I mean, you might have a fantastic salon now where you can say, don't like it, bad luck, no refund. But she could have 4 clients, 5 clients, and this is a big thing to her. So I think also you need to look at the situation, what you're commenting on and how you react to a bad customer, which is customer's always right. In my eyes, customer's always right.
Yeah.
So try not to take it too personally, I think is my biggest advice. And once again, mine's retail experience, but you're a retail, you're still a salesperson in your own salon. You're offering a service, but you're a salesperson. You're selling yourself, you're selling your business, you're selling hopefully Prolong Lash in your retail corner. So you're selling all the time. That is your role, and you can't take it too personally when particularly if something happens with the products you're selling. You've got to be educated about those products, that a customer might be coming in saying, this stings my eyes. And you might say, no, Prolong never stings anyone's eyes. I don't know why it stings yours. That's the wrong answer. It's just because that's how you feel. She's telling you it's hurt her eyes. It's hurt her eyes. And you just exchange. Give her another brand, put her onto something else, refund her money. So anyway, we can go on and go on and go on about it, but I really want to talk about, with you, Alicia, the time to let go of a customer. So once again, my experience is very different than Alicia's, but time to let go of a customer in my situation has always been too abusive. When they get too abusive, when they get over the top, when they start affecting my staff or staff around you, where they start acting personal, where they actually attack you personally as a human being, not your work or anything else, but start to call you names. They're the times in retail that we're allowed to let people go. When they cross that line. When they cross that line, it's like, okay, we actually don't need your business anymore. You're never welcome back in here. We don't want to see you again. And most of the time, if you think about it, if you live in a region where you have to shop in these places or you have to go to these places, having services taken off you is really affects your lifestyle. But in a salon, you tell the girls,
and I do worry about
stretch, if you don't mind. I'm very passionate about this.
I do worry about firing a client, as it tends to get called in the lash world, when you may be in a smaller demographic or a small area. If you're something like a big company and you can just say, we're Sephora, get out of our shop and don't come back. And someone will write a bad review on Sephora and say, oh, they were so rude to me. And that really doesn't affect them that much. They're a massive company. But if someone's having a fight with you and you can't rectify it and you say, okay, you're not welcome back in my store, the next place they're going to go is to Google reviews and leave you the worst review they can. And then they're going to go onto your Instagram page and they're going to slander you however they can. If they're angry enough and you've said, get out, I'm not dealing with you anymore, is that the best way? Not necessarily. Like, you're going to possibly cause yourself more grief. So
Agreed.
I think firing a client's actually a big deal. So I think it can happen quite organically. Like, if you have had this disagreement with someone and they've had a problem and you've done your best to resolve it and they're still unhappy, I would just, before I said get out of my salon and don't come back, or like, I'm sorry, we're not compatible, you're going to have to leave, I would probably do as much as physically possible, even if that meant refunding them all of the money they've ever spent with me. Honestly, I would. Because I would rather say, I'm going to refund you everything. I'm sorry this relationship hasn't worked out. And they'll be too embarrassed to come back to you. They will not want to come back. You know, they'll fire themselves. And then they can't really slander you online because you've done the best that you can do to sort of appease this situation and make them happy. The times that we have fired clients from our lash salon was someone who was abused. Someone threw a phone at me.
Oh.
And
It's a bit rough.
obviously physical abuse is not tolerated. So
I'm laughing, but I shouldn't be laughing.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine you not ducking very quick.
I was as calm as I could be, but you should see me when I'm mad. I actually just picked up all of her things, all of her bags and things that were in the basket next to the bed. And I just blankly said, follow me, please. And I walked out and I threw her bag outside and I said, please leave. And I closed the door.
How to suck a client.
But she was obviously
she
was too embarrassed to come back after that as well. But, you know, in the situations, we did have people who were really didn't care about our client, our lash artist's time. They would turn up late time and time again, sort of demand their appointment even though they're half an hour late. And so we did have people, and in those situations I think it's delicate because you do want to get rid of them and you do not, and they're not necessarily complaining. They're not like there's something wrong with you and we're having a fight. We've got a problem with them and they're not respecting our salon policies. So we did have to sit them down and do like a warning system and say, hey, look, you know, you've been late the last 5 times. It puts a lot of stress on our lash artists. We can't have you do this, blah, blah, blah. And then they do it again and we have to take them back in and say,
frustrating.
You know, we had this conversation last time. If you cannot turn up to your appointment on time, we cannot book you again. Like next time you need to turn up or we cannot book you any more times. The next time she turned up, half an hour late again. And we said, I'm sorry, you can't have another booking. She begged and pleaded and said, please, 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 I promise. And we said, I'm sorry, we cannot continue the relationship. We've got some great other lash artists around that we can refer you to, give you some names of lash salons around here that can help you, but we cannot service you.
So she shot herself in the foot.
Yeah.
So she had been warned. I think the warning's a good idea. I
Yeah.
think letting them know. What a joy. Remember I come back from the New Zealand conference and I said that Joy said something that was so funny. She said that she prices them. She prices them out.
Oh, yeah. If you don't like someone, you can just make yourself really expensive. That's a good idea. By the way, my prices are going up next week. So instead of $60 for your refill, next week it's going to be $350.
So just letting you know before you want. Is Joy still want to make this appointment? No, Joy said that.
I'm very busy.
What else did
I just can't.
She said something else that was so funny about the half an hour late. Oh, she'd send people out with exactly 3/4 of an hour's of work done.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's a clever woman, you know, she's not wasting her time. They've paid for that time and that's all the time that they get.
That's you were late, that's as good as I can do. If you want them filled in, make another appointment.
Yeah. And Joy is hilarious because she's really, really straight, but also really sweet.
Yeah.
I think she can get away with it because she's got a good vibe for it.
That's funny. It's just
yeah.
But look, everyone's different. And Joy's been in the industry for a very, very long time. So I'm certainly not saying that's how you
no,
but it's certainly the warning people out of the salon,
mm-hmm.
warning people about how many times they've been late and
yeah. But I do believe in giving people chances. Like just because something's happened once doesn't mean you're so right. Like you don't know what's happened in their day.
Yeah.
They could have just had an awful day, an awful week, and maybe just give them the benefit of the doubt that
once or twice,
you know.
Once
and
or
then
twice.
some people are just assholes.
But I think it's a good idea, and I don't know how it would work exactly because I've never had the opportunity to do it. But I think it's a good idea if they're continually late and you don't want to sack them, so to speak, that you do just give them the time that's allocated to them.
Yeah.
I think you can have the right to say, you've got 40 minutes. I'll do the best I can in that 40 minutes. It's not going to be as full as a set as I can usually do for you to refill or to do a full set.
Yeah.
But this is what I can do for you. Just before I start, I'm letting you know that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wise.
Yeah.
So our unhappy clients, basically we need them to feel like they are being heard. Yes. They need to be able to vent and get out the information. And if you can do it in a calm way, great. And you must do it immediately. Deal with it straight away.
Or chuck their bag out like Alicia.
Violence is not tolerated.
No.
But
yes, yeah, you have to feel important.
Yes.
Feel important.
And weigh up the pros and cons for your business. Is it worth the whatever amount of money to refund them and just to make them happy? Give them what they want. If they're angry and they're yelling about something, go deep into what you think they're trying to get out of this. Why are they complaining? What do they want? Do they genuinely want you to fix them? Fix them. Do you think they genuinely just wanted to get a set of lashes done for free and now they're complaining just so that they can get a refund and they're basically scamming you?
Scammer.
Possibly. Is it worth dealing with a scammer and having them badmouth you all over town compared to just giving them what they want? Maybe it's easier just to give them what they want and give them their money back. Like, you can only make that decision.
It's not like you're giving up your super. Like, it's not like you're being frauded out of your super, all those big scams that are going on.
I know.
It feels bad at the time. Just take a step back from the $180 or the $200 or whatever it is. Take a step back and think about what better you could spend that money on to get that return on investment. So that girl is going to go away and tell at least 5 people that you're terrible.
Or she might go away and other people might see her lashes and she can say, oh, I get them for free because you just complain afterwards and she refunds you.
Terrible, Muriel. That's terrible.
But I think you get a vibe. Like, sometimes I have heard time after time after time people say, this girl's come to me, she's complaining, I know I did the set perfectly, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, she wants a refund, and people go, don't refund her because she's just a scammer and she just wants to take your money and whatever. I think every time I've seen these things, people say there was something off about them from the start. They say she was weird from the start. There was a weird vibe from the start. So I think if you get one of those situations with one of those scammy people that is just trying to just get their money back and get a free set of lashes, I reckon just give it. And then you've learnt that that person with that vibe that you felt a bit off about, next time you just go, you know what? I'm booked all the way till December.
Yeah, go with your
And
gut
it's only
feelings.
February. I'm so sorry. I'm not taking new clients at the second. Whatever. If someone's giving you a bad vibe, then and you know that they're going to be annoying, just go, oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is my only availability is at 3:00 in the morning. So yeah, just get rid of them from the start and just take that single person who's scammed you, stuffed you over as a learning experience.
Yeah, take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and write it off to an experience that you've learnt from, and you will learn from it. And there'll be others that you'll learn from. It mightn't be a refund, or it mightn't be a bad situation. It'll be a good situation. But turn that negative into a positive. Turn that situation into a positive by going, right, I've learnt that. I don't like that person's vibe. I've learnt that. I'm going to have policies up from now on. Manual doesn't work. Manual bookings don't work for me. Take it, but make sure you just don't ignore those signs, because if it happens again, then you have to be held a little bit more responsible. First time around, second time around, but follow the advice of the customer that's screaming, because that's actually often quite right.
Yeah. Yeah, so take control of the situation, take responsibility for the situation and turn it around and use it to your advantage if you can.
Exactly. So we hope that you got something out of this session. It's obviously something we're both quite passionate about.
Yeah.
Always interesting to talk, but there's lots of helpful resources out there on how to deal with customer complaints, how to deal with client complaints. make sure you jump on our website. We've got loads of blogs on things like that. And we're here ourselves. If you become a partner with us, you get us at any time you want to talk to us about that. But the community groups are good. We don't want to turn you off the community groups. They're ace.
Yeah.
But community groups, you have a responsibility too.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And just because everyone else is doing it one way doesn't mean that it's the best way for you. So don't let people, you know, bully you into thinking that their way is the only way. Maybe for you, maybe you want to get their opinions and that's fine. And then you assess them and go, you know what, actually, I'm not going to refund them. That is how I feel about this. Or actually, it's just easier for me to refund this and get this person and this problem out of my life. So
you might be a really shy person. It depends on your personality too. Some people just do not like to deal with confrontation. And if that gives you the anxiety, if having to deal with confrontation is giving you anxiety and going to ruin your days leading up to it, and then the day of it, and then the day after it, refund it. Go and have a massage, have a swim, and get back into it the next day. Write it off to an experience that, okay, that's what I've learnt from.
Yeah.
Don't lose sleep over an angry customer.
Yeah, I totally agree. But yes, if this we keep on just going back into
I know,
it.
so
we love it so much.
If you liked us today, please give us a thumbs up and follow us on our podcast, the Aussie Lash Wives, where you can take us around with you all day and we can be passionate in your ear whenever, all day, on any platform.
Don't forget to jump on our socials as well. And if you want to buy Prolong Lash or become a Prolong Lash partner, as Jodi said, you can go to www.prolonglash.com and .au for Australia. And otherwise,
that's about it.
Yeah,
Thank
you remain happy and don't let those unhappy clients bring you down. You know how to deal with them now.
Don't let the man bring you down.
Thanks for joining us.
See ya.